Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We are so glad to have you here. We're glad to have you join us. Welcome. Please, you should note that this call is being recorded, and there's going to be a replay. A replay would be available after the event. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. As you join, could you let us know in the chat box? Just let us know your name, where you're joining us from, and what agribusiness you're either involved in or you're interested in. So let's just network amongst ourselves, create a bond between farmers and investors, aspiring agripreneurs. You can go in the chat box and just tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us what agribusiness you're involved in. Welcome, everybody. We are going to commence soon. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We'll be starting in a few minutes. We're so glad to have you here. Welcome. Do let us know your name, where you're joining us from, and what business you're involved in, or what business you would like to start, what agribusiness you're aspiring to start. Welcome, everybody. So good to have you on this event today. This is Agrichat. Right. We'll start in about a minute's time. Sorry to keep you waiting. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, good morning, Elizabeth. Thank you for having us.
Good morning. Thank you. We are so glad to have you here. Can let us know your name and where you're joining us from.
Okay, my name is Ezra Kolo. I'm joining from Abuja. I'm actually into technology, so I work with Extension Africa. Extension Africa is an agribusiness company. So basically, I'm the team lead for the technical departments in Extension Africa. Thank you.
That's amazing. Great to have you here, Ezra. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share with us? You can drop the message in the chat in the next 1 minute before we commence. All right, let's have the founder of Agrichat team, Timothy Sholadiri. He's going to give us a welcome chat. Just tell us about Agrichat and about Agrichat. Yes, Timothy.
Okay, hi everyone. Good morning. I think most of us are within Africa, so maybe it's around morning where we are, or please correct me. You can just send where you are in the chats, and I would recognize your location. Thank you, everyone, for joining the uh, Agrichat Experiences of a Young Farmer. And Agri is an agri-tech startup, and one of our vision is to increase the amount of young farmers in Africa. And we do that by putting out content relating to agriculture online to encourage young people to be interested in agri. In Nigeria or anywhere in Africa, you can do agribusiness even by the side, even if it's not your main business. Little as farming, called either cultivating farming or animal rearing. You can do that from even your backyard. And we post out content on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and even on our website, tips on how to help you start your farming. Um, because we want to increase the number of farmers across Africa, we organize trainings and events every month, or ending of every month, just to bring in a specialist in an aspect of agriculture. We've had specialists in rabbit rearing, in grain storage and supply. We've had 7 businesses you can do in this year. We also are having this one. This is the first time we are doing it, called an Agrichat, where we notice at the end of all of our events, all of our webinars, people always have a question to ask or a contribution to make. And decided to make this particular session all about that discussion and conversation. So if you have any question or any challenge you've had while being a young farmer, we are all young, at least, even if you are less than 50, it's still fine. You can share, and that's what we have today. Of course, you want us to follow us on all our social media handles. This is on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. The link will be shared in the chat. So as the training or as the event is going on, you can just share it. My name is Timothy, and we are open at Agri. We at Agri are very much open to partnership or collaboration. If you want to volunteer with us in any of your capacity, whether as a writer, social media manager, graphic designer, we are very open. And we are very open to partnership, and we're excited to have you join us today. Thank you. Elizabeth, over to you.
Thank you so much, Tim. We can comment now. As he said, Agrichat is just a place for us to network. So this is not going to be like a training session where one person will be talking throughout the whole event. No, we need everybody to be active. If you have something to say, this is Experiences of a Young Farmer. Yes, we have 2 guest speakers, but well, you can chip in at any point in time. Just raise your hands and let us know. My name is Elizabeth Eniola, and I'm the moderator for this event. I'm just here to facilitate a conversation. I'm not here to bring the main gist. But I actually have a gist, first off. So over the last couple of years, I have tried my hands at several agribusinesses. I mean, several agribusinesses. I have tried goat rearing, fish hatchery, poultry brooding. I've tried brooding chickens. I've tried several. And the end of my story, well, not the end of my story, but as of today, all I can say is that I have recovered from the emotional trauma of the failure that all these businesses were. But today we have these people here with us, very special people whose stories we can call success stories today. They have been through it all, and they are here to share with us the good, the bad, the ugly, but please, mostly the good, so we can be encouraged, so that I can get back on the horse. We have Mr. Emeka Nwokedi and Mr. Sunday Ehijato here with us. They're already on the call. I am not going to introduce them completely. I would let them do the introduction themselves. Mr. Sunday Ehijato, please, could you just share with us who you are, your name, and your business so far? Just a summary, the whole gist of your agribusiness so far, where you're at now.
Good morning. Good day. Can you hear me?
Good day. Yes, you can hear you, Sunday.
Yes, yeah. Good day. It's a privilege to be here to share my experience through this journey in the agro business. And to be frank, first of all, my name is Sunday Hijato Junior, and presently I reside and do business here in the city of Jos, Plateau State. And the name of my poultry business is called the Blessed Farm. The Blessed Farm, and we have been doing this business for more than 15 years now. And the experience has been wow, though challenging, but has been a nice experience, and God has been seeing us through and all of that. And thank God for the success He has given us so far. And our present capacity in the Blessed Farm right now, we have 6,000 beds presently, and I'm still working to expand the business. Um, I think that's a summary of Blessed Farmers for now.
Wow, that's really amazing. Blessed Farms is really blessed.
Yeah.
Emeka, would you like to share with us your story, your journey, and where you're at now?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Good morning, Mr. Unwokedi.
Thank you very much, Eniola, for having us here. Let me quickly start with saying, Mr. Sunday looks very, very familiar, and I hope it's not me who is getting old. It looks very familiar. I hope he can say something about that. But yes, I think I'm a businessman who went into farming. So like they said, I'm a strawberry and vegetable farmer. Uh, we we have Jos, and then vegetable farm in Jos. Uh, we also decided to go into grains and tubers. So uh, we have those. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm struggling with network. Like Eniola told me this morning, I live in a village. So please, I'll be needing feedback. So that's basically what we do. I'm sure more details will roll out as we continue the conversation. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Please tell us, Emeka. You said your farm is located in Jos. How did you start? How did you start farming strawberries? Because we've always seen strawberry as well an exotic fruit. So how did you start farming strawberries? Where did you start from? When did you start? How did you gather the resources to start? Because I'm very sure it's not ordinary. So what was starting like for you? Can you share that story? Did you learn yourself or did you hire people? Okay, I hope I'm not also having network issues. Can everyone hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now, Emeka.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yes.
Okay. So I've always believed that you should pay attention to your environment and ask questions. I grew up in Jos, so strawberries were like a norm for us to see around. But I remember sometime 3 years ago, a friend of mine came in from Lagos. I think it was around January, February. A friend of mine came in from Lagos, and I picked her from the airport. We went to meet up with someone else, and we had lunch. And where we were having lunch, they offered strawberry smoothie, and I I did enjoy the smoothie. And after that, I know I asked the people there, where do you source for your strawberries? And they said, oh, they have a guy who has a farm. And then I said, oh, cool. So that's why I started with saying I'm a businessman who got into agriculture. So I said, can I get his number? They said, yeah, first number. I got his number. And then I did the math in my head. If we generated orders for strawberries from the south, I could buy from the guy and ship to the south. So I first of all started as a petty trader, maybe a cross-state petty trader. So we we did generate the orders, um, and I reached out to the guy and he delivered. So we did that for about a year and a half, and then uh, a series of events happened, and we got into farming ourselves. We felt it was more profitable to um, us to be able to control the price if we controlled production. So that's what happened.
Oh, that's interesting because I remember hearing, I was listening to a financial consultant recently, and he said to not be afraid of taking big orders, even when your capacity even when your capacity cannot accommodate it yet. But take big orders and then partner with other people, source it from other people and deliver. So this businessman started to trade and sell strawberries to us without having a strawberry farm himself. That is so interesting. And Mr. Sunday, can you share with us your own experience with partnerships? Did you have to partner at any point in time before getting to 6,000 poultry capacity? Because that is really big. So how did you start? How did you scale up to this point that you are in now? Sunday, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. First of all, before I go into that, let me answer Emeka's question. When I saw the flyer, I knew that I am very much familiar with the face, and I think Emeka, if I'm not mistaken, you schooled at First Baptist Secondary School, and if that is you, then we were classmates. Yes. So I think that is where you will get the
Wow.
face. So our journey, the Blessed Farm, um, it's really a long time coming because we never had to partner with anyone. For someone like me, I grew up in the poultry, in the poultry. So it all begins with my parents, and we all journey as a family into Blessed Farm because we located from Benin down to Jos. And then while we were here, there was nothing much for us to do. And then the only thing we could do was to source for a business we can do. And with little that we have, because we were finding it difficult to even survive, having located down to Jos. And then we met someone who was into poultry farm, and then we just inquired from him. We inquired from him how could we venture into the poultry business? What um, can we know? What and what can we get? How can we go about it? And then he just shared a little thing with us, and then gave us his advice. And then we just go back, we check ourselves, we check our pocket. I remember my dad was like, he don't have any much money to go into the business. And then, but the little thing, one thing that helped us was that the little money we had, though it was nothing, but we decided to just put the money into the poultry business. And then we started with the capacity of 200, with 200 beds. And then how we did it was, though we were new into the business, a starter with little or no idea of the business. The only idea we had was what the uncle told us. But what helped us was that we had Equa Development was like how would I put it now? Was like a veterinary, was like a company who they have a hatchery here in Jos. They produce their feed, and then they have a veterinary. So we got the birds from them. So we got their feed. The feed we used in feeding the birds was from them, and then we engaged their veterinary. And then we have a vet doctor who could ask questions. And then as a starter, he was directing us. And then that was how we got the direction for the first time to start. Though we had issues with how to feed these birds, how to raise them because of there were not much funds. But what helped us and pushed us and keep us in the business was we were determined that despite it will begin, so we will have to cut off some of the household expenses, even our own consumptions. At times, I can remember then while growing up, we could go without lunch. We could skip lunch just to see that the birds feed and all of that. And that was how we started. And we grew up from 200 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,500, and then up to where we are right now. And because one of the challenge most farmers always have is where after getting these birds, where can you accommodate them? But one good thing we had then was that we had an empty, though we were staying with someone and we're renting, and then we had an empty space. So we took one of the room there, and then we accommodated beds there. So that was how we started before we got a place for ourselves. And then we now got a bigger place, and then that's how we started.
Wow. Uh, you people did not tell me that this agribusiness thing is like that. So you're saying that you give up food for yourself so you can feed chickens.
Yeah.
Oh, this. Okay, well, I'm glad it has paid off in the long run. I mean, 6,000 is something. I'm really glad it has paid off, and that's a big sacrifice. I'm excited for your family. Really, I'm really happy for you. Now let us get into one of the biggest questions, in my opinion. This is one of the biggest things that people would want to ask when it comes to agribusiness. You are entrepreneurs in Nigeria in 2024, and Tinubu. The biggest question is, how has the economic situation affected your business? Sunday, I think we should start with you, especially with the price of cost of feed, cost of grains it's over the roof nowadays. So how has this affected your business?
Well, I must be frank with you. Seriously, the present economic challenge of the country seriously has really challenged virtually all the businesses, and the agro business I could say is one of the major, or let me say, the most heated business by all of these challenges. For us, the farmers, seriously, we are not finding it easy, because one of the challenges is, first of all, the feed. The prices of feeds are now high, on the high side. And if you look at most of the ingredients used in compounding these feeds are from the farm. the grains like the maize, the soya beans, granules for the PKC and all of that, you discover that if you go to the market, how much is a mudu of maize, then how much is a bag of maize, how much is a mudu of soya beans, have effects on the price of the feed. And I won't lie to you, that's one most reason that has pushed so many farmers out of the business. I know of so many farmers who started, but right now are no more in the business because of the high price of feed. Most of them could not be able to continue their business with that high price. And secondly, it has had effects on vaccines. When you get birds, most persons do not understand it. They just feel that it's just to get birds, keep them, they grow, they get to it, they start laying eggs. That's not it. We have series of vaccines that these chickens undergo that we schedule for them at from day old down to the 15 weeks. There are series of vaccines we give them. I discovered that previously the vaccines we do purchase for 35,000, 34,000. That's per 1,000 dose, per 1,000 dose. Right now, I think the last brooding we just last batch that just came out from we just brooded. I think they were supposed to have finished their vaccine last 2 weeks, but because we debicked them, so we could not continue the vaccine. We have to allow them to rest. When we are getting these vaccines for these chickens, we discovered that most vaccines that we are purchasing then at 35,000 have doubled themselves. So that too has had an effect on the cost of running the business. And secondly is the drugs. Because of the high, most of these drugs, most of them have been imported. And we could say that the reasons why they are on the high side right now is as a result of the increase, the high price of the exchange rates in terms of the dollar to the naira has had effects on the price of all these vaccines and drugs. And so when you have the feed on the high side, the vaccine on the high side, and then the drugs for the birds on the high side, discovered that seriously it has not been easy for us. Most farmers have even quitted because they cannot be able to pull through with the business. And that's one challenge we're suffering now, going through in the business.
Okay, so you justified the price of eggs now, because me, I've been vexing that why are eggs so expensive? You cannot even buy egg like this again. Okay, now
Okay,
okay,
should
okay.
should I surprise you? Even at that price, we farmers are not happy with the current price of egg. We are not happy with it.
You look too good to make me believe that you're not happy with this price.
We are not happy with the price because of the cost of feed, vaccine, and the rest. So when you do your subtraction, then what is your take home pay? You understand? So you look at that. You feed the birds. You give them drugs if they are sick and all of that. So you look at all of that. So it's not still on the high price.
Okay, the struggles of a poultry farmer. We should write a book. Um, Emeka, please share with us how this has affected, and also another big issue in the country right now is the issue of insecurity. So share with us, please, how all these have affected your business.
Okay, thank you so much. Before it used to be easy to just buy eggs and keep at the house. Now you buy the eggs you want to use, and I pray that things get better. But it's very important we rephrase the question, which is not how the economy has affected um, farmers or people in entrepreneurship, agriculture. I think we should rephrase the question to be how are entrepreneurs in agriculture responding to the economy? Um, I'm careful about my choice of word, entrepreneur here, because when for example, when the current government came into power, we had proposed in our hearts we're not going to make a profit in that year. we had proposed in our hearts that we're not going to make a profit. And I spoke to everyone who was involved with us financially, that there's no profit for you this year. What we're going to make is we're going to try and gain market share. I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So what we did was we tried to expand our production. We're supposed to go into packaging last year and get bio-friendly, biodegradable packaging. We didn't do that because we had to go back to the drawing board, increase our production output to maintain price, because we understood that our commodity was not an essential commodity. Mr. Sunday sells eggs. Children have to eat eggs. But there are children in Nigeria that have never heard about strawberries. So I have a more peculiar problem. I have to keep the price within a price range to make sure that I have my doors open. So what we did was we substituted market share for bottom line profit. And I think we took over a 50% loss of capital invested last year. But that's the thing. We are not here to survive the year. We are here to try and survive a lifetime. This government will come, this government will go. Entrepreneurs will stay. So I think I'm challenging our entrepreneurs. Our thought process should be, how do we weather this storm? What are the ways? That's why I really appreciate what Agrichat is doing. What are the ways we can weather this storm? Because looking at the current economic climate, it's getting worse. If you didn't plant food this year, you're going to pay a lot to buy next year. I don't know if you're with me. You're going to pay lots to buy next year because the prices of everything. We bought fertilizer 2-3 weeks ago. We're buying it again this week, 10,000 naira difference. And we have to factor all this into production. So the race for us is, can we maintain market share? Because there are other bigger farms in this thing, and we know our competitors, they have market share. Can I look at this time where can I undercut my competitors? Can I grab some market share? Yes, I can. So, for example, last year we grew in market share. You understand what I'm saying? Did we lose money? Yes. Did we grow in market share? Yes. So and this is where I want us to think about it. If your goal is to put in 10 naira and make 12 naira, that's fine. It's beautiful. It's how my grandmother sent her children to school. It's sustainable. You're living for the year, and it's beautiful. If your goal is to have, for example, the blessed farms, if their goal is to make sure their eggs is sold in Lagos, then they're trying to gain market share. They're trying to undercut the next guy. So our response to that was, we decided to increase production. We decided not to invest in packaging. We decided not to invest in a lot of other things we could have invested in, just to keep price at where price should be. And that's how we responded to that. We took the loss. I know it's not something we want to hear in business in Nigeria, but businesses should take the loss sometimes. So that's what we did. The question of insecurity, well, keep your doctors close. They can just call you and say, they attacked a farm 5 minutes from here. They attacked a business 10 minutes from where your machinery is. Your heart is up. There's nothing you can do about the problem with insecurity. It's the government's job to protect the citizenry. I do not have a right to bear arms in this country. So there's nothing you can do to that. Where if you're a person of faith, you can pray. But for the entrepreneur, you keep your doctors close, because a lot of us are young and we're deceived by the fact that we can still walk around, our health is okay. It's not. When you heard that news, it did something to your blood pressure, or your blood pressure went up. You were okay. It didn't come down. You didn't know. Next thing they will say the entrepreneur fell suddenly, and it was village people. So, but you have to scout for places that are safe because you employ people. You have to scout for places that are safe. So one of the questions we always ask ourselves is it safe? That's why occasionally, personally, we like to go and visit where we have farms. Is it safe? Is it okay? Last year I was at Shandam where we have a yam farm. We visited the farm. I was just coming in from I think Benway where we have some other thing, and I was trying to go to Jos, and they said you can't go. I said why can't I go? They said there's crisis. Cars are not going anymore. So I have to sleep with the people in Shandam. If the crisis had got into Shandam that day, I would have seen crisis. But it gives us an understanding of what the frontliners have to deal with. So we try to make sure we get well safe plots to farm and all of that. We had some prospects in Niger this year. We couldn't explore because it was too far out of the area of safety. In fact, this might sound very funny, but there are places in this country where if you want to farm, they will say you have to be paying security fee to ensure that your farm is not vandalized. And then it goes back to production cost. If I have to pay security fee to you monthly, I have to pay the thief not to steal from me. And I have to factor it back into, production cost. Increase production cost. I just go somewhere else my business. So that's my thoughts on that.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is that's actually what differentiates just any other businessman from an entrepreneur. So an entrepreneur is not always about the money. His mindset is not always about making profit. If sometimes, as you said, as Emeka has told us today, you just have to take the loss. And the loss might be for a whole year. Please, when will we start talking about the joys of farming? Because you people are giving me bad news. You said the beginning you had to tell your investors that, hey, for this year we're not looking to make profits. That's a big thing. How are we now supposed to feed? How are we supposed to survive it for the whole year? We're not going to be making profits. Sunday, can you share with us your experiences on pricing? How you have been able to navigate? Emeka said you should change that mindset. How do you weather through these? Someone also wants to know, someone is asking in the chat section, do you mill your feed yourself or do you buy from other companies? I think he answered that they process themselves. And he's asking which is cheaper and better for production.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Can hear
first of
you.
all, let me answer your question on pricing. The Blessed Farm, we've been able to give our customer a good pricing for goods and services using a good pricing system for them. And for in just here, just have a large market for egg. Yes, just have large market for eggs, and because of the climate climate condition here in Jos is favorable for the poultry business. So we have a lot of farmers here in Jos. So and one system we use here is that we have a general pricing system for egg. That whenever a customer is coming, we try to know, okay, fine, what is the general price of egg in Jos as at today? So when we have those who we have the chicken markets here in Jos, they call them the Kaswa Kaji. I think they are the ones who mostly fix prices. At times they determine the price. They could tell you this is the price we buy because they also buy to sell. They also export the eggs to other states. So they could tell you this is the present current price in the market. So what we do is we try to know the current price of the market and we sell with the current price of the market. Because if you don't do that, let's say for example the current price of the market is let's say 35. 2,500 naira per crate, and then you decide to go, oh, I want to make profit, I want to sell beyond that, and then you go sell your eggs for 3,600. What you are doing, you are ringing a bell to your customer, telling them that your price is on the high side and they have to look for alternative. Everybody is trying to see how they can, all the customers are trying to say they can buy from you, take these eggs to wherever they are going to, because most of our customers are not within the states. So they come from other states, they purchase these eggs, they ship the eggs from here, from just like our biggest customer here. She resides in Kaduna. So she comes all the way from Kaduna to buy the eggs and then she ship them to Kaduna and all of that. So we try to give her a favorable price that when she even go to elsewhere to check for the price or to try to see if she can get from somewhere which is cheaper, she can beat her chest to say that with truth, or we can beat our chest to say with truth. Well, the price we are using for her is the general price which she can be able to purchase, and make a profit for herself also, because we do not just look at ourselves, we also look at the customer who is also buying from us. So that's all about pricing, because here in Jos we have a general pricing system that we use. So we intend to keep that, and that's what we use for pricing here. And for the question that was asked, yes, we mill our feed. We mill our feed. We have two branches. In the main branch in Bukuru, here in Jos, we mill feed there. We have our equipment. We have all that we need to mill feed. So imagine though we started from buying half bags of feed, one bag, and then today we can smile and say, let me give you a testimony so you can say, there's a story, there's a good news in the whole thing, is that we started from buying half bags to a bag and then 5 bags, 10 bags, and today we can say, wow, we are milling our feed and we have our formula, and the feed has been doing well for us. And we pick this feed in as much as we are milling. We have MVRI, which we take this feed for testing to see how good good is the feed. The feed, is there any improvement and all of that. So with the results that always come out from those tests shows that the feed is edible and good for the birds. And from the appearance of the birds and their production, we could say yes, the feed is doing well. So that is what we do. We meal our own feed presently. So, but most times we also try to, like, there is what we do recently. We try to purchase feed from other company. Just let's say for a ton, we will just buy like 10 bags, mix with our own. Why we do that is we just trying to say, in case if there's anything these people are adding that we are not adding, so that our own beds can also benefit from that. So we just do that so that we can have here and there, and it has always been working for us.
No. So what I sense from both our speakers today is that they value branding, they value customer retention above making a profit. And that's really amazing. I think it's something that all of us should note. Branding, customer retention, customer relationship above market share, as Emeka said, above making a profit. Okay, next, apart from this, these are general issues, the economic issues, general insecurities, general, but are there other industry specific challenges that you have encountered, like that is specific to your business? Emeka, you grow strawberries, vegetables. Are there pests, disease outbreak that affect your business in particular? Also, like transportation, these are perishable goods. How do you transport without delivering rotten products? Could you share with us?
Thank you so much, Eniola. Thank you so much. Yes, there are peculiar challenges we face, because we, as a brand, will not sell strawberries that were not harvested that day. So if we harvest a batch, it has to get to the end user that day. So there's a question of transportation. How do we get it to you that day? There's a challenge in that. Can you hear me?
Yes, we lost you for a while there, but yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I said as a brand, we do not sell strawberries to customers that were not harvested that day. That become so once we harvest, the race is the race of transportation. How quickly can we get this to you? So for example, you could have an agreement with Arik. Arik has a flight for Lagos by 2. Arik has told you it's a direct flight to Lagos. You tell customer you can be at the Lagos airport and pick up your cargo at 3:30. You put in your strawberries. You go to Arik, you pay Arik their money. You and Arik have an understanding. You go and sleep. You wake up by 6 p.m. You have 21 missed calls. Pick up. What's the problem, ma? I've been at the airport for 2 hours. Okay, my cargo is not there. You understand? My cargo is not there. And you're like, okay. You go and call Arik. Arik, where's my cargo? Oh, the jet was not full. So went to Abuja. Oh, got to Abuja. And I'm calling Arik because they are notorious for this, not because I'm pushing down their brand. Well, got to Abuja. Eh, something happened. Something happened. Anyway, your cargo will get to Lagos by 11 p.m. True story. Now remember, these are fresh strawberries.
From
The
2
customer
p.m.
is a young lady. Eh?
From 2 p.m. to 11 p.m.
11 p.m. Your customer is a young lady. She has a business. She has orders she wanted to use the strawberries to fulfill. You call the young lady and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. These things happen in this country. My business is small. I don't have a cargo jet. Please bear with Eric. You have about 40 kg of cargo on that plane." True story. At 11 p.m., the lady goes to pick up the strawberries and they are bad because they've been in cargo. Strawberries are fragile. They've melted.
Mm.
Do you want to go to court with Eric? Eric will tell you that somewhere in their fine prints, there's a provision for that because that's what any decent corporation will do.
Mm.
Do you want to tell your customer it's not your fault? Such an order, the customer will not come back again. Do you want to tell the customer you transport it by road? You will need both a lawyer and a chief priest to get it out of the road transport workers. So what do? You go back and you harvest a fresh batch, beg Eric again to be more considerate with you with your money, pay premium price, and beg Eric to fly it. But after a while, you learn to work the system, you develop relationships, and people whisper to you, "Oh, this is not a direct flight." Oh. So you begin to learn how to work the system. So are there peculiar challenges? Yes, challenges of transportation. You can send, and this is another true story, you can send an order just to Abuja, give driver, pay driver money, 6 p.m. You've called driver 3 times. Driver will now say he's not picking your call again, and he's not moving your strawberries. You are not even in Abuja. You're dealing with a client that doesn't even want stress. What do? You have to start begging people to go and help you. You understand? Talk to the people at the park. And then you have to start looking for a lawyer. Do you understand what I'm saying? To go and harass the people at the park. So the challenge of transportation exists in production and distribution business in the country because the transportation for human beings is the same transportation we use for products, and it's largely dependent on human beings. So that's a peculiar problem in our business. For example, I farm strawberries. There's a problem of ethics. And I give example with our airlines again, because they're very funny people. You put a cargo on an airline, you pay the airline out. I will mention the airline this time around, because this one's even more terrible. The owner of the cargo, so you're flying the cargo from Jos to Lagos. The owner of the cargo is on a plane from Abuja to Lagos. They arrive at the same time. The owner of the cargo is clearing our luggage in the airport. The cargo guys are clearing the package in the airport. And then somebody will say, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, then a worker in the airport will say, oh, these strawberries are fresh. Oh. Strawberry, that is somebody's strawberry. You say, ah, look at it, it's even opened. Let's take. The cargo is there making a video of how her own food that she will eat has been violated. Someone that I don't know if they washed their hand in the last 3 days, open it. And then the owner is not telling you a story. They are sending you a video. It's not that they're giving you a gist. They are sending you a video of how the package has been violated. So there's a problem of business ethics in this country. There's a serious problem of business ethics. People do not know how to behave across the value chain. So we have a problem of transportation. We need to get the products as quickly as we can to the consumer, and we can only rely on airlines. We have the problem of business ethics. The person we are trusting transport is, will they behave well? Will they test product that they shouldn't test? You understand? You've been paid to do a job. Why are you testing? If you want, out of anger, what I did was I put together a package and I sent to the Lagos airport and I said they should eat strawberries as much as they can. And of course, everybody got the message. You understand what I'm saying? So these are the challenges we face. I don't know what the solution to these challenges. Maybe somebody will prefer a solution from the audience, but these kind of things, unless you control from production to distribution, there's nothing you can really do. So that's my contribution to this.
Wow. All I've said is wow. Please, as Emeka has said, if you have a solution and you're in the audience, you can please chip in if you've experienced something like this. Okay. Okay, Mr. Sunday, as we're discussing before this came up, would like to know how you also navigate this industry specific challenges. And before you go into that, someone had asked in the comments that still on the matter of milling your own feed. She said, so is milling the feed cost not too high? And at the end of your production cycle, do you get a better profit for it? So as you answer that, you also share with us your experience on industry specific challenges that you have faced and how you overcome them. Sunday, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just answer the question that was asked. For the milling of feed, I could say that it's more cheaper. I'll give this example. Okay, now is the planting season, and the cost of raw materials, maize, soya beans, and all the rest are now on the high side. But when we enter the harvest season, the price of all these maize, soya beans, and all the ingredients will have reduced. Now you could see, I remember like last year, we have a warehouse. So what we always do is we source our raw material during the harvest season. So we source for these materials like maize, soya beans, even the GNC, the PKC, we bought them, we'll purchase them, we'll take them, we'll store them. We have a warehouse, we store them in our warehouse. We try to see that the warehouse is well equipped so that and have control against pests and all the rest, so that our grains and all that we have stored in the warehouse can be fully protected. Now, when we have done that, like this, right now we are waiting for the harvest season. When the harvest season comes, we go to the market, We go to the mostly how we source for our grains is from the farmers themselves. So we have a system by which we communicate with them. They bring these maize, soya beans from their farm to the farm. So they bring it directly to us. So we pay for the cost. That's the transportation cost. So we buy from them and then we store them. We have a supplier who most times if we cannot get directly from the farmers, we get a supplier who stands in between us and then these farmers in the local areas, and then they purchase from the farmers directly and then bring to us, and then they have their own price they fix being fixed on these commodities, and then we purchase from them and we store. So when we have made this purchase and we store, like what happened this year, which was really an exciting year for us. Though it was exciting for us because we had our storage, and we most of these meals we bought them at the rate of 200 per measure, 200 I mean per kg, because we keep by per kg is what we purchase these meals from. So we weigh them on a scale. So we buy per kg, 200 per kg, and then we store them. So right now, when we look at the price of this package presently, discovered that package, like the last time I was told that when I asked was 450, 500. Some will tell you 600 per kg. Now, if you can go back and do your calculation, you discover that right there you're making profit per kg for all these grains you have. And then when you bring all these your raw materials and then you compound your feed, you make your feed finish. And the only thing that will be of a high side for you are the additives. That's the methionine, the lysine, and all the rest you use in. Those are the mechanism, as in the that you use in compounding the feed. So those are the only things that can be of a high side for you, because you cannot say you will buy them and store them because they have expiring dates on them. So we always buy them fresh. We always buy them when we need them. Though we don't buy them when we need them like that. When we want to buy, we buy in large quantity that will take us for months, and then but we don't buy to keep. We don't buy to store. So when we compare our feed and then when we take the record and statistics of this feed, we discover that we are as a profit. So I think that it's more profitable. It's not that I think it's what we do from our records. It's there. It's more profitable to mill feed than buying feed, because the price of feed that you are buying keeps on changing. That from the point of, if you look at the pricing system of feed from January to this, they discover that it's usually increased monthly, at times weekly. So, but for you, you've already purchased all these your raw materials, unless the little ones I mentioned that I said we only buy to add to them. So it's more profitable to buy and to mill feed than to buy feed. So I don't know if I've answered your question. I've answered your question,
Yes.
but if you must mill feed, I must say, and I must be truthful to you. If you must mill feed to make profit, to make profit from milling, you must have a good capital, because it requires capital for you to buy this maize, store, soybean store, and all the rest. If I tell you how much we put in just in buying these raw materials to store, you discover that it's you like yes, that is why when we do all of this, spending all this money in purchasing this raw material, you discover that at the long run we make profits, we get our money back, and we make profit from them. So I don't know if I've answered that question.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. So, your advice to someone that is just starting up with little capital would most likely be to buy commercial feeds, and then
Yeah, okay.
as the person
Yeah,
grows in
advice.
business, you can now begin to mill your own feed and compound yourself. Yes. Would you
Yeah.
be willing to give us your formula?
My formula. Okay, that's to be if yeah, I'll do that. You have
That
to
that was
calculate
that
that.
was on a lighter note, though. That was on a lighter. But thank you very much. So we've seen all these, and from both of you I'm getting that you try to understand the system, create your own system, and then work with what works for you, right? Emeka mentioned the same thing too. You say, okay, this is the way things are done, this is how it goes, and then okay, this is going to be better for me, this is going to be more profitable for my business. What new technology or innovations are you excited about? Is there something you're looking forward to doing in your poultry farm? Probably the automated battery cages that, well, we've all been hearing about, or is it something for your feed? Is there anything that you're excited about that is upcoming in the poultry business?
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Okay. Yes. I will not say the battery cage or any of those automatic drinkers. I won't say that. Though they are good in innovative and all of that. But one thing I would say is it's the it is in terms of the veterinary improvement. We have presently there is something that gives me joy when I see it in the veterinary um, systems. The fact that we right presently now there is a test that is being done on, because one of the major challenge we have, and that's what has scared most people away from the poultry business. And that challenge is the fact that I purchase birds, and at the early age they begin to die. We have a high rate um, of mortality. There's a high rate of mortality, and that scared them away. When you hear story of somebody who purchased birds and at the early age he lost 70, I think that's part of even our story. There was a year where when we just begin, though we are just about 3 4 years into the business, we bought 1,000 birds. Then we're trying to rise. We bought 1,000 birds, and at the end of the day, the birds were being hit by a deadly. Let me use that word, because it was very deadly, by a very deadly disease that claim about 70% of them. So, and it was really a sad moment for us. And then we have to go back to start afresh. And so when someone who is just starting hear this kind of a story, I think it will scare him away. Or when you have this kind of experience, I think you say, I will not do again. This kind of thing I won't do again, and all of that. But right now there is a new test that is being done on the birds. I think most farmers are aware of it, some are not even aware of it. And for those who wants to start, let me tell you, when you get your day old, at the day you get the delivery of the day old from either the farm or from wherever you are getting it from. I think here in Jos we have some veterinary clinic, but the one we mostly we partner with in the farm is the University of Jos Veterinary Teaching Hospital. So there we take our bets. So what we do, like the last bet we purchased, we bought, we took about 12 of them as at the point of getting them. After we took them to the farm, we put them there and to we put them there in the farm. We took about 12 of them straight to the veterinary. So for blood sample. And what that blood sample means is the test is being run to check what is the health condition of the vets. Now it looks at their health condition, and then it gives a picture of if there is any hereditary disease being gotten from the mother cock and all of that. So it could now tell you, oh, these beds you just purchased, let me say there is a trace of, let me say, this disease, Newcastle or that. So you will have to start treating, or there is a trace of this. So this is what you need to do for the bed at the early stage. And then with that test, they could give you what is a proper schedule for their vaccines that will bring them to good and a proper health condition. And so that test has always worked for us, and I think that's my greatest joy, because the last birds we brought, you could imagine then when you bring birds, there's always casualty, you have mortalities. But the last birds we brought, at the 8 weeks, we only lost 8 of them. There were 2,000 birds. We only lost 8 of them after we've done this test and we've done the treatment that we're told to follow. We just lost only eight of out of that 2,000 in the 8 weeks. So that's to tell you that this is a new innovative, and it's a good one on for the poultry farmers, and whoever that have not heard of it and can take advantage of it. I think to us who have done it, we have seen the results and it's working for us. And this is one thing that gives me joy in the poultry business.
Wow. Finally, some good news. I'm excited also. I don't have a poultry, but I'm excited because now we have good news. Some people have been raising their hands. I would like to know, is there anyone that wants to make a comment, share your own experience from the audience, the participants? Anybody? All right.
I think Mary
Uh,
Joket is up. Mary
okay,
Joket.
is her hand still up?
Mhm.
No, please, sorry, it was a mistake. I'm sorry.
Okay,
All
that's
right then. Thank you very much. Emeka, I have good news for you too. Agripella is transporting livestock. Maybe very soon you'll start transporting strawberries. So innovation is coming your way. But apart from that, is there anything else that you're excited about? Anything you're looking forward to happening that would make your processes better?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so this one might sound funny, but we're looking forward to trying social media for the first time. I know. The irony is there, but so we're looking forward to trying social media for the first time. We have an IG page. When we started our business, we wanted to create a product that was so good. It was marketed solely by word of mouth. And it was on that platform we built the business. So we're intentional about not going on social media. People said, oh, in fact, someone took out a Facebook marketplace ad for us at some point. That would know, you can't have this, just sitting in the confines of your WhatsApp and all of that. But we just wanted a product so good, people are going to talk about it. And I think after 3 years, we had achieved that goal of being sure that our products would sell itself if tried. So we are excited about trying social media for the first time. We are looking forward to trying social media. That's something. We're looking for trying IG. We're currently in the middle of what do you call it, a rebrand, a transformation. So we're switching names, and I don't know how that will work. So we're looking forward to trying that. Uh, we're looking forward to One of the things we're looking forward to trying in production is vertical farming. And I don't know, maybe Agri will help us get agric engineers that will build vertical farms for us, because strawberry
Coming.
does not need so much soil underneath it. So we had tried to do vertical farming before, and I think the only person we could get was in the southwest, and the price was funny for a startup. So we are still trying to look into, because if we're going to solve the insecurity and land grabbing problem, we must make best use of a square meter of the land we have. And the best way to do that is vertical farming. So we are considering that. We might not try it this year, but it's something we're looking to try in the next 18 to 20 months. So yes.
Okay, coming soon to Agri, a training on vertical farming. Watch out, Emeka. You're going to be the first participant to pay for that. So tell us your rebranding so far. How is it going? You said you're changing names. What are you changing from? What are you changing to? You haven't told us the name of your farm. And does it come with an upscale, or it's just a switch?
Okay, so well, we'll talk about the name. We've not talked about it so well because We filed for papers with the CAC, and we are positive we will get something very close to that. So we are moving to become farm for farm. That's FARM number 4, FAM. So we're farming for families. We used to be just berries. So
Okay.
why are we doing this? We want to, for example, expand and bring all our products under the same space and all of our agricultural businesses. One of our goals is to ensure basic nutrition for the Nigerian household. That's one of our goals. At least to the guys we have access to our market share. So we want them to know from the name that we are thinking about them. It's not just about the products now, it's about the clients. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, somewhere on IT with that name. Just put a
That's
page there. Um,
Farm for Farm. We will support your move to social media. On behalf of the audience, I promise that we will follow you and we'll look out for your products. We'll look out for your page on social media. Florence, you have your hand up. Would you like to contribute to the conversation?
Thank you for this opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Okay. My question is in regards to, he was talking about this test that he carries on when he gets day-old chicks. Well, like me, from my own personal experience, I don't actually have the patience to rear my birds from day-old to the point of laying. So usually I buy my birds at point of lay. This test, is it also going to be useful for someone who purchases his or her birds at point of lay? Would it be useful too, or helpful rather? That's my number one question. Then number two, because my own experience hasn't really been a good one, I started with deep litter and managing infection, because actually it's not as if there's no profit in poultry. There is. As long as you're able to neutralize or rather expunge infections or minimize it to the barest minimum, and you even mill your own feed. If your farm is operating at an 85% productivity, you'll be able to make profits. But the problem now is most of us depend on this processed feed. And even this processed feed is becoming a challenge because sometimes these processed feeds come infected themselves. So how do we manage this issue now? Okay, if we decide we want to mill our feeds, most of them will tell you that their farm is so small, to start milling feed is not convenient. So it's more favorable even for those that have larger farms than those that have, like, let's say 200 birds or 300 birds. If you tell them to go and start milling their feed, it's more convenient. It will be more convenient for them to just go and buy the feed and just ration it according to the number of birds they have. So now, in my own case, was that I actually did a deep litter, and I did all the vaccines as usual. But at a point in time, they all stopped laying. From, let's say, me getting for like 500 birds, I was getting like 14 and a half crates. It dropped to as low as 4 crates. Even when I did treatment, I would do the treatment, they will up to, like, let's say 8 crates or 9 crates. Next thing, they'll go back down. And meanwhile, all the vaccines were taken care of. Biosecurity was taken care of. You understand? Occasionally, you might have things like, okay, they'll tell you that you have lasso, what they call this popular sickness they usually have. I've forgotten the name, Sha, that usually affects their production in terms of egg size and sometimes even quantity of eggs. But we'll do all the routine treatment. And I noticed it became a recurring situation, and I actually had to sell my birds. I had to minimize my losses. So as a result of that, I opted to going for battery cages. which I have done, you understand, to see how I can minimize my level of infection rate, because as long as they are not able to come in contact with their poo, it reduces infection rate. So that's what I have done. So in a case now whereby we know that vaccine fails us in this our current in this particular region, how do we manage that? Then secondly, if this test you were talking about for your day old chick will also prove effective for someone that is buying at a point of lay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those questions and even contributions. Is there anyone with experience, please, amongst the other participants? Probably a veterinary doctor that can help us, because Mr. Sunday is a businessman, not a vet. He'll meet, at least from his experience, he's going to share with us. But if there's anyone else from the audience that would like to comment on this before Mr. Sunday goes on. All right, Mr. Sunday, let's have you.
Okay. Like she said, I'm not a vet doctor, but ma, so sorry for your experiences. I think that is part of it. Everybody has those such experience. If I begin to list hours for you, I think you will say yours is even better. But one thing I must say is, you say you buy your best point of view. One challenge about point of view I will stick to you today is that most times you getting this best from point of view, you were not there when this farmer brewed the bet. You don't know the procedures they followed. You don't know if the vaccines were properly given to them, and you don't know where they outsource their vaccines from. Because one challenge about vaccines, and I'll tell you one challenge about vaccines that make vaccines to fail is if you are not getting your vaccine from the right source. What I mean by the right source is, these vaccines are always imported, and when they come into the country, the person in charge of the vaccine, or let me say the vendor, which you go to purchase your vaccines from, how properly well is he keeping the vaccines? Because the vaccines are supposed to be stored in a cool place and all of that. So how in terms of electricity, in terms of keeping his fridge working and all of that, what are the method is he using to store these vaccines? You look at that. I think here in Jos we have a lot of veterinary clinics. We have a lot of veterinary vendors, people that buy vaccines and all of that, vaccines vendors and all of that. But one thing that we look out for is, we don't look at the cost of vaccines. When we want to give vaccination to our pets, we don't look at the cost of it. We go for the best, because we know the money we are trying not to spend now, if we don't properly take care of these beds, we'll end up spending that money and even much more. And at the end of the day, we might even lose the whole of the beds. So we go for quality. We try to check how well are these vaccines properly kept with this vendor. So we have so many of them, but there's this vendor we always go for because of how well he keeps his vaccines. And then who comes to administer the vaccines to your pets? Who are these doctors? Because normal they have a quantity that must be given to each vet. Now, how well are they following that? And these are things you have to look out for when vaccinating your pets and all of that. And then for the point of lay, let me just share this experience with you briefly. There was this farmer that came to my shop, then where I sell feeds. So he came to my shop, and then she purchased 500 beds, not from me, though I linked her with somebody. So I was just like a middleman, finding for my own cut and all of that. And we sold the 500 beds to this farmer. She went in, she took the beds, she gave the proper care to them. Do you know that at the 25th week to 26th week, these beds were not laying? She came back and she was complaining. She told me that she don't know if she gave birth. Yeah, I mean, if she purchased male chicken or female chicken. And we're all laughing in the shop that maybe it's a male chicken she purchased, not female chickens. So, but one thing I discovered was she suffered with those birds, and at the end of the day, she has to sell them. But I tried to find out, okay, what was the actual reasons why she has to go through all of this, is the fact that the person which these birds were being bought from, how well did she take care of the birds? I discovered that it was even from the farm that these birds were coming from. They were not properly taken care of. Most of the vaccines were not given. So when you're talking about point of lay, I know most farmers who were buying point of lay, they have to stop and have to start breeding their birds for themselves, and which is my advice to most farmers: breed your birds yourself. At least you'll be able to follow the vaccination of the birds and to see how and then if there's any problem that comes up, you can be able to say, okay, fine, this is the challenge and all of that. And then she's saying she using use of battery kit. Yes, it's good. Yes, it's good. It's reduced infection and all of that. And then you look at your source of water supply. What is this your source of water supply? Because most of this virus can also comes from water, also come from water. So you have to look at your water supply. If it's not hygiene for your beds, you have to go. You have to use we have a water tablet we use. I think I've forgotten the name of the drugs we use. Of the drugs, the particular one we use, we use that for their water treatment, and we treat the water the water system we use from. Though we use a borehole, we always treat it. We always treat the boreholes to make the water pure and purified for the birds. So and then she also mentioned, I'm just trying to get all the questions she was trying to ask, and she talked about milling of feed. Yes, for a starter cannot start milling feed. It's not even advisable. You have to buy, and like she rightly said, feed now, meal feed comes with their own problem. I sell feed. There was my particular customer came and purchased in my shop. He called me into his farm. I have to leave the shop to his farm. And when we opened this bag, what we saw, I will not call the name of the feed. What we saw in the feed were brooms, condemned bags, as in something like after you finish meal, where you sweep the leftover and bagged it. So we just saw it and we were surprised. And I have to apologize to this man. And being the vendor, I have to apologize to him and have to take that bag back to the shop and then refund his money and exchange it. I wasn't trying to say, should I refund your money or exchange the feed for you? He said I should do whatever I want to do. So I have to bring an extra bag for him and then and that extra bag I brought for him, I remember we took an extra bag again to apologize to him on behalf of what have happened, and we told him that maybe it's an error from the company. So you could see that most of these feed also are being contaminated too. So and one of my advice I will give farmers to check all these infection and the rest is the fact that always check your beds. Take your beds for PM. Whenever you notice anything, like they always say, whenever you see something, say something. In the poultry, whenever you see something, do something, because everything you are seeing in the bed, it's pointing out to something. It could be from their eggs, the color of their eggs change. You will have to go for PM. Why is their egg changing? What is wrong? You will have to go. If there is no death, if there's no mortality, you will have to just go and maybe have a veterinary doctor who you can seek counsel for. He can tell you, okay, fine, you can purchase these drugs, that drugs, and then you can administer to your vet. Or properly, when you have mortality, like in the farm here, when we have mortality, even as far as a single bed, I was telling my younger brother that if since last month, throughout last month, we did not have any mortality in the farm. We did not have any mortality in the farm. I was saying that it almost surprised me. And I was not trying to, he was trying to ask me, what are we doing that there is no mortality? And I was not asking him, are you praying there should be? He said, no, he's just surprised. I said, I feel that because we try our best to see that one thing about farmers is you don't observe your birds. You should observe your birds to know if they are not working well. You look at their movements. Are they moving well? Are they eating well? And when you see that, you don't wait for mortality. You don't wait for until you say, you removed one today, you removed two today. You just go in for treatment. We treat our birds every time. We vaccinate them whenever it's called for. And for that treatment she was asking me about, that's the test, the blood test. I don't know if you can still do it for point of lay, but my advice is when you get point of lay, carry one of them, still go to the veterinary clinic, run a test to check in case if there is any disease, as in they come alongside with it. I think you can do that to help. I think that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you so much. So what I'm getting from you now is that before you start the business, you do your homework. You know the source of your feed, the source of your birds, whether they are point of lay or they are day old. You do your homework. And with this, I'd like to introduce that coming soon to Agrichat is Agrichat Store. Agrichat Store, we do your homework for you. So we help you to vet sources. We vet the feed source, all the shops, all the stores where they sell feed, where they sell vaccinations. We also vet veterinary doctors. So you can just go to the app. The app is coming soon. You can just go there. You know that they are verified. These are genuine people. These are certified people. You trust them. You can trust what you're getting from these people. Very soon, this will be launched on Agrichat. Sameka, there's a question for you. He's asking, how good is Nigeria's weather for farming strawberry? Well, success story of 3 years is telling us that it is possible, but what other states can it be done? You were talking about being excited about vertical farming. So with vertical farming, can people in the southwest of Nigeria, venture into strawberry farming? Emeka, are you there? Okay.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so what states can you plant strawberries? You can plant in Jos. You can plant Taraba. I think the place is called the Mambila Plateau.
So,
For strawberries, we have dreams of expanding to Taraba someday to allow us to serve the far north. Now, can you plant in the south? Yes. With enough money, you can do anything. So there's called, I don't know, conditional something where you build a green room and keep the temperature at a certain level. So you have to build a green room, maintain the temperature at a certain level. You will grow your strawberries. The question is if you can afford it. So if you can afford to do that, why not? Do a green room, get an expert to come in to automate these things for you. Today we're in a world of renewable energy, so you can put some solar something to pay for the electricity. That's fine. So it can be done anywhere with enough money. If you don't have enough money, you go to the place where God has made it natural. Thank you.
all right, then. His same person is also asking about renewable energy, but I would like to reframe that and ask how do you care for the environment in your business? How do you, especially things like disposing of waste? Mecca has told us about their concern for their staff, the safety and security of the staff. How do you give back? Because we're taking from the earth. How do you treat the environment? Emeka, would you like to go first? How do you dispose of waste on your farm? How do you treat the environment?
sadly, because we are so 21st century conscious and so funding conscious, we are very conscious about waste. So first of all, we try to use part compost manure, then parts, so part compost, we try to use compost manure for some of our thing, just to make sure that waste is reused. We try to reuse packaging. So even though we're trying to move from that now, but we're still working it in our head, but we try to use packaging. Uh, we try to we try to very hard try, but we try to make sure that anything we can reuse, we reuse it. So, for example, for strawberries, we can just keep the shrubs there and reuse them. So anything we can reuse. The thing on our mind is, can it be reused? Can we reuse it? Is this reusable? Then let's do that. So that's how we try to care for the environment. Most of our waste, we try to, there was a time when you and I were talking, and I was saying how I wanted to go into animal production, not poultry farming, because I feel like those people that do poultry farming, God bless them especially. And one of the reasons we wanted to go into animal production was because the animals we wanted to use were animals that could take our waste for food. I don't know if you remember that conversation. So I think we talked about it. I think that time you were doing something about fishery or something that you refused to teach me, but that's a story for another day. So
Coming soon to Agri.
we are trying to also thinking of how best we can integrate an animal production something in the future that will offtake our waste that is not naturally disposed of. But we have very minimal waste and we try to reuse it. Uh, we try to reuse it, yes. We also try to this did not start as a cry out for the environment. It started out as a cry out for substandard chemicals like the poultry people had said. So this year across our farms, we are not using herbicides to clear the grass.
Wow.
It's more expensive, yes. Please, people should clap for us. We're putting money to making sure that we don't use herbicides to clear the grass, but it's a double-edged sword. Uh, Last year we lost, and brace yourself, about 2 hectares of farmland to wrong herbicides. The herbicide just didn't take. We bought herbicide for good money. They said it was selective herbicide, but it didn't take. It didn't take at all. So we asked ourselves, what's the solution? The solution is if we have people work on the land or employ more people, it's more friendly for the land and it's more eco-friendly, especially when they are very careful with how to go about it. So these are the ways. The truth about this eco-friendly thing is that it's expensive. So maybe when we start putting eco-friendly stickers and charge extra 200 naira per kilogram, people should understand that it's expensive. So while I could have just bought chemicals and sprayed for like 10 naira, we are having to pay like 20 naira to have the place, combed through gradually. But another thing we're thinking is to reduce the amount of chemicals that are going to go into our food so that we can have healthier. I'm so confident about what we do that when I go to the farm, I can pick right there from the farm the strawberries and put right into my mouth without washing it. And I've never had to have a case of being ill or something, because of that. So those are our contributions. We don't have a lot of waste, so we're just trying to reduce chemicals as much as we can, reuse as much as we can, That's it for us.
There'll be your customers thank you, and on behalf of the earth, I thank you too. Mr. Sunday, would you like to share with us how you handle waste in your business? You, on the other hand, have a lot of waste. Poultry business has waste. So how do you handle that to keep our earth safe and us as well?
Okay. For waste, in the farm, I think here in Jos, I think God has blessed us that Jos is a fertile land. I think I can say that. So we have a lot of farmers, those in the farmland, those who are planting and all the rest. So they also assist us in waste management. So like for their litters, in the poultry, what we do is monthly we clear off their litters, and then we bag them because we also source the revenue from that. Yes, we also get income from their litters. So what we do is the farmers always come for those litters. So we sell to them because you know the price of fertilizer is now on the high side. So the farmer are trying to look for alternatives. So one of the alternatives they consider is chicken manure. Yes, they call it chicken manure. That's what they consider. So what they use most times is they use the purchase chicken manure to use together with the fertilizer. So most of our waste in terms of their litters, that's their manure, we don't throw them away. In short, we are always looking out for it. We baggage them, we pack them, we bag them, and then we sell to the farmers who on the other side use them for farming, and it's always give good yield. I think it's in just manure has really be I think one of our generator in the house, the gen we use in the house, I think one day we just sold some bags of manure, and then we just say, okay, what are we going to do with this money? We just used to buy a gen in the house. I think that gen we're still using it up to today. So it's also part of revenue for us. I think most farmers are are, are getting much revenue from chicken manure. I think anytime we get to pack their manure, we intend to smile and joyfully pack it because we know it's money. I think the last time we sold a bag, I don't know if you know this maize bag, the way they bag this maize with the cover and all, because we bag it, and that bags go for 17,500 per one.
Yeah.
So at times we go clear their liters, we get about 30, 40 bags. So do the calculation. So that the revenue for there we put it back into the business. You understand? So it's always been for us. So we don't throw their liters. We even want the liters. And we even want the liters. We want the waste because we always will throw it. So we don't have people like our other farm in Rayfield. You know, Rayfield is a residential area. So, but one thing is that we try our best to keep our poultry properly so that it won't have any offensive odor
Yeah.
or all the rest. So that's why we always pack their litters every month. And then whenever we intend to have any waste that we need to throw away, we properly seal it and throw away. I think even our dustbin behind our waste bin behind the house. A security man met me while I was going out. He said he wants to come and pack it. That he saw some chicken manure in them. I told him help us pack it. Because so most of our ways, people come pack them and all of that, and the ones that we need to sell, we sell them. So that's has been how we have been able to handle our waste, and to us, it's money for us. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Our time is fast spent. Even as we round off, one final thing. How do you separate your personal life, Sunday now? How to separate your personal life from the business? Does your family get a constant free supply of eggs as much as you can eat? Or how do you separate, especially finances? So do you use your personal money in your business? or how exactly do you make a clear distinction in like 3 minutes, please, because of our time?
Okay. For the finances, what we do mostly, I think, while growing up with my dad, he always say something. He said, "Your capital is your capital. Your capital is different from your own money." So one thing we do is we separate. There's a separation of accounts, and then what we do of financing separation is that we we have a certain amount of money that should be in the account, and then and that money should always grow. So we don't exceed that amount. We don't, we call it, like, let me say, a capital, because our capital. So for say now I start a business with, we have, let's say, for example, we have £1 million in the account this year. So we intend to, by the end of this year, we should be able to have that money grow in the account for, let's say, at the end of the year, we're looking at 2 million or 2 million plus, and all of that. So what we do is we try to put ourselves on salaries so that we can be able to separate. Now, I don't need to use business money now for my own private um, care. So we have money for business, we have money for myself, and money for the family. And in terms of the egg, we don't have any restriction to egg collection, because you can't eat more than, I think, even the health wise, 1 egg per day. So even if you can't consume more than one or two, 3 eggs. So, and all of that. So that is it. So for our income, that's the system we put in place. At least we put ourselves on salaries to help us handle that. Yes.
All right. Mr. Farm for Farm, you want to provide Nigeria with nutrition for cheap prices. How do you separate your personal finance from the families that you're providing for? Farm for Farm, how do you
Yeah.
prevent giveaways from touching your business?
Okay. So how do we separate finances? First of all, I'm just thinking about it again, and I realized that we did not take 1 naira from the farm last year. So all the money we put in money the previous year, all the money we made from the farm last year into this year, we didn't take 1 naira from it. I don't know if we took anything, maybe to pay for something. I don't think we took something directly into our pockets. You understand? So the first demarcation is you have to have a separate account. I hope that someday I can be like someday and have a cash threshold I can't go below in the bank. But I'm praying I get there someday. So we didn't take our money. In fact, how do we separate my personal finances? My goes back into financing the business. So I, I go around and I work around the clock, around the year to make more money into growing the business, because we don't talk about this enough. But if you do a little bit of business studies, you'll realize that every business needs several series of funding, and sometimes that funding has to come from your own personal pockets. You have to account for most of the funds. So we have a separate account for our business and we use it for business things. If we now like to declare dividend profits at the end of the year, we will take out what capital is at the time when we will make profits, keep capital, take out what our running cost is. This is how much we have to pay, keep running costs, cost for inflation. And then if anything is left, that becomes dividend for owner to take home. And maybe someday I can grow up like Mr. Sunday and then put myself on a salary, and then that is it. So it's not like I have a headache and I can just reach into the strawberry account and take money. it doesn't work like that, because the next day they can wake up and need 10 bags of something, and I've taken money to eat today. So what do? Do I close the business? So there has to be a clear demarcation of the books. I think we don't talk about it enough. There has to be a clear accounting of the resources. You have to know what came in, what goes out, where it went. So, um, sometimes what you might need to do is to outsource other things so that you can watch the finances better. So, that for me is it. We just separate it by keeping separate books. I don't, if I feel like eating chicken from Mr. Sunday's farm, I will not remove the money from farm for farm account. If my personal pocket does not have money for chicken, I will just look at Mr. Sunday's chicken picture and swallow saliva and move on. It doesn't matter if we have tens of hundreds of thousands of millions in the account. So that is it.
All right. Thank you very much. So, in my own opinion, I don't think it's also healthy to work year round just to put the money into the business. There should be a demarcation even in that aspect. So, not just about not taking money out of the business account, but even managing your own personal account and not business. I think it's also very important and understated. Thank you so much, Mr. Nwokedi and Mr. Hijato. It has been our greatest pleasure and honor having you on this event today. Chat box about Agrichat, our social media handles. Do well to follow us on social media. We have some volunteer opportunities and roles. So you can just send an email to us, hello@agrichat.com. You can visit our website to see the link to all our social media handles. Agrichat.com is our website. We'll continue to host trainings and we'll continue to send you messages, reminders about our trainings. They hold monthly, the last Saturday of the month. A final word from our guests. What would you like to say to struggling, aspiring, established agripreneurs? Sunday, a final word, please, in 1 minute.
Yeah. My final word is for starters who wants to venture into the poultry business. One we say have the passion, but it goes beyond having passion. Like all that we have all said, both what Emeka have said. You need to do your homework. You need to understand whatsoever you want to venture into it. Like for the poultry, you have to understand what and what the does it entails. How can I go about it? You have to assess all your resources in terms of finance, in terms of how to get your vaccines. You have to, like my advice is, you have to register your farm with a vet clinic so that you can have a vet doctor who can always come around and then check your chickens, your birds, and all of that. So, but my advice is that whatsoever you must do when you want to venture into the agro, be it like my brother Emeka, you must source and you must do your homework and to know what and what it entails before putting your money into it. Because don't say because this person is very successful, so I've heard the story, so let me go and venture into it. Then you may not just be like you may be so unlucky not to be the Daniel in the lion's den. You may just be another person who the lion is going to consume, and then you may end up saying it's not profitable. Why you've not done your homework? So do your homework, and then you will prosper in whatsoever you will do. That is my word.
That was a very interesting illustration and scary also. Emeka, your final word, please.
Yeah. I like to always say to people when they say they want to do business, I always like to say, when last did you have your health checked? So before you even go into business, be sure you're fit, because then I ask, how what's your risk tolerance level? What's your risk tolerance level? If your risk tolerance level is not high, you have no business getting into business. Number three, I always ask, you know, this thing you're willing to do, are you willing to ever learn in it? Some of us get into a business, you do a couple of transactions, and then your learning stops. You know, you meet people who are into business, you've not taken a course, you've not taken a class, you've not even watched as simple as a YouTube video, attended a forum like this in the last 2 years, and you think you're industry standard. The world is bigger than your bedroom. So if you want to go into business, make sure you have the heart for it. Don't wake up and lose 20 naira and start fainting all around. We are burying a lot of young people. Number two, make sure you have the risk tolerance for it. Some of you are risk averse. If you lose every 1 naira you lose, if you lose 1 naira, you drop 20 kg. Business is not for you. Go get a job. Be happy. Put some money somewhere else. Make sure you're ever learning. You hear people say, "Oh, uh, I'm not cut out for learning." Uh, yeah, business people, no finance knowledge or whatever. So you must be sure it's for you. Like you said, don't just wake up and say everybody's making money, you want to make money. The tough times will come. It's part of the seasons of life. The tough times will come, and someone has to pay for the tough times. Agro is paying for you guys to be here and have very good information today as maybe a plan to market a larger product or something. But for today, they are paying for it because they promised me shawarma, you know, at some point in the week. So they are paying for it somehow. But the point is, whatever you want to do, be sure that you can pay the price, you can stay paying the price, and your body can take paying the price. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emeka. It's amazing that we are discussing experiences of a young farmer and we are hearing about high blood pressure. But please, everybody, be safe, be healthy, eat eggs, eat strawberries, eat your vegetables, and check your blood pressure. Please check your blood pressure. Not just check it to know it, but check it to do something about it. Thank you so much, everyone. We have put up a feedback form. Please let us know how we did, how we can improve, if you are learning from this and what we can do better next time. It's been amazing being on this platform with you. Thank you so much, everybody. Does anyone, probably someone from the audience, have a final word? Some hands were raised. Would anyone like to say anything before we round off? Okay, thank you all. Thank you so much. We would see you next month. But before then, agri.com, we have a lot of information put out. You can check.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much, Aniola, for the presentation. It was wonderful. I want to say a very big thank you to our speakers. You guys are wonderful. I mean, it's been really interesting to hear your perspective, Mr. Emeka, Mr. Sunday. Thank you very much. You are partners with us in Agri. We say if anyone wants to partner with us, we're available so we can hear you out. Before we go quickly, I want us to introduce what we have coming soon. As part of Agri, we have a project coming up. It's going to be a competition, and the idea is the competition is titled My 500K Agribusiness. My 500K Agribusiness. And the idea is we want to get people to fleshing out their agribusiness idea for 500K. So the budgets for your business plan is 500K. Put in it on a business plan, do all your drafts, and then you will send the be a participant in that competition. We'll definitely let you know as this progresses. Just stay tuned to agri.com as we also launch the Agri store. Thank you very much, everyone. My name is Timothy. I think someone's hand is up. Do you want to say something before we end the session? Okay. All right. Thank you very much, and do have a wonderful weekend. Bye.